There's a psychological reversal that transforms you from someone who seeks approval into someone whose approval others actively pursue. This isn't about games or manipulation. It's about understanding the fundamental dynamics of value and scarcity that govern human relationships. Today, we're going to explore how to become the person whose opinion matters and whose approval becomes something others genuinely want to earn. The foundation lies in a simple truth. People value what they cannot easily obtain and dismiss what is freely given. When you make your approval scarce and meaningful, it automatically becomes more valuable. The psychology of approval dynamics. Most people spend their lives seeking approval from others. Parents, bosses, friends, romantic partners, even strangers on social media. This approval seeking creates a psychological hierarchy, where the approval giver holds power over the approval seeker. The dynamic works because approval represents acceptance, validation, and social safety. Throughout evolution, being approved of by the group meant survival, while disapproval could mean exile. These ancient patterns still influence modern behavior, making approval a powerful psychological currency. When you constantly seek approval, you position yourself as having lower status and needing validation from those with higher status. This creates dependency that undermines your power and attractiveness. The reversal happens when you stop seeking approval and start being worthy of it. Instead of asking others to validate your worth, you develop genuine worth that others naturally want to be associated with. Developing internal standards. First step is developing strong internal standards that don't depend on external validation. This means knowing what you stand for, what you will and won't accept, and what constitutes success by your own measures. When you have clear internal standards, you stop being swayed by others' opinions and start evaluating them based on whether they meet your criteria. This immediately changes the dynamic from you seeking their approval to them seeking yours. Internal standards create natural selectivity. Instead of trying to please everyone, you become selective about who deserves your time and approval. This selectivity makes your approval valuable because it's not given to everyone. People sense when someone has strong internal standards because they carry themselves differently. They're not anxiously seeking validation or desperately trying to fit in. They seem complete and self-contained, which naturally attracts others. The power of selective attention is one of the most valuable commodities in the modern world. When you give your attention freely to everyone, it loses value. When you become selective, it becomes a precious resource that people compete for. Selective attention works by only fully engaging with people and conversations that meet your standards for quality. This doesn't mean being rude. It means being genuinely interested in worthwhile interactions, while remaining politely neutral toward everything else. When people notice you're not equally engaged with everyone, they start wondering what it takes to earn your full attention. This curiosity drives them to modify their behavior and work harder to become someone worthy of your engagement. The key is authenticity. You're not artificially withholding attention. You're genuinely more interested in certain types of people and conversations, and that genuine interest shows. Building competence and value. People chase the approval of those they perceive as competent, successful, and valuable. If you want others to seek your approval, you need to develop actual competence and provide genuine value in your interactions. Competence creates natural authority. When you're genuinely skilled or successful in areas others care about, your opinion automatically carries weight. People seek approval from experts and leaders who have achieved what they want to achieve. Value creation means making others' lives better through your presence. This might involve being an excellent listener, providing helpful insights, or bringing positive energy to interactions. When people benefit from knowing you, they naturally want to maintain your good opinion. The combination of competence and value creation makes your approval meaningful because it comes from someone whose judgment is worth respecting. Strategic boundaries and standards clear. Boundaries and high standards automatically create conditions where others seek your approval. When you demonstrate that you won't tolerate certain behaviors or accept mediocrity, people understand that earning your approval requires meeting higher standards. This boundary setting should be done calmly and consistently rather than through dramatic displays. Simply don't engage with behavior that doesn't meet your standards, while being warmly responsive to behavior that does. Over time, people learn what kinds of interactions earn your approval and naturally modify their behavior. When dealing with you, they become more thoughtful and considerate because they understand these qualities are necessary to maintain your good opinion. The boundaries also filter your relationships, attracting people who can meet higher standards while repelling those who cannot or will not rise to your level. The scarcity principle. Scarcity creates value in human psychology. When something is readily available, people take it for granted. When something is limited or difficult to obtain, it becomes more desirable. This applies directly to approval. When you give approval freely, it becomes worthless. When you reserve approval for genuinely impressive behavior or character traits, it becomes valuable. People start working to earn something they know they cannot simply expect. This doesn't mean being stingy with positive feedback. It means being discriminating about what earns your genuine approval versus your polite acknowledgement. People quickly learn the difference between automatic pleasantness and authentic respect. The scarcity principle also applies to your availability. When you're always available for everyone's problems and requests, your time loses value. When you're selective, people work harder to be included in your choices. Professional applications in workplace settings. Making others seek your approval can significantly enhance your influence and career prospects. This happens through demonstrating exceptional competence, maintaining high professional standards, and being selective about investments. When colleagues know that earning your respect requires genuine excellence, they often rise to meet those expectations when working with you. Your approval becomes associated with quality and success, making it valuable to career-minded individuals. Leadership naturally develops around people whose approval is worth earning, because they attract others who want to be associated with high standards and success, social and personal. Relationships in social contexts. People gravitate toward those whose approval feels meaningful because it represents acceptance into a higher quality social circle. When you maintain standards for the people you spend time with, others want to prove they belong in your social sphere. This creates natural selection where your social circle improves over time. As people either rise to meet your standards or drift away to find easier approval elsewhere, the result is relationships with people who choose to be their better selves around you. In romantic relationships, the principle works by being someone worth impressing rather than someone desperate for attention. When potential partners know your approval must be earned through genuine compatibility, they invest more effort in creating meaningful connections. Avoiding the arrogance trap goal is not to become arrogant, but to develop legitimate worth that others naturally want to be associated with. Arrogance repels people and reveals insecurity, while genuine confidence attracts others. The difference lies in motivation and behavior. Arrogant people look down on others and seek to diminish them. People worthy of approval maintain their standards while remaining genuinely interested in others who meet those standards. Be warm and encouraging toward people who demonstrate qualities you respect while remaining neutral toward those who don't, rather than being critical or dismissive. Long-term relationship dynamics. When you consistently apply these principles, your relationships gradually shift toward higher quality and mutual respect. People learn that maintaining your good opinion requires bringing their best selves to interactions with you. This creates a positive feedback loop where your social environment continually improves as people either elevate their behavior or naturally drift away. You end up surrounded by others who share your commitment to growth and authentic relationships. The transformation from approval seeker to approval giver also builds genuine self-confidence based on actual competence, rather than external validation. The ultimate reverser master, the art of making others chase your approval. And you'll discover the secret was never about getting people to like you. It was about becoming someone genuinely worth liking, respecting, and wanting to be associated with. When your approval becomes valuable because it represents recognition from someone of genuine worth, people naturally work to earn it. This creates relationships based on mutual value and respect rather than neediness and validation seeking. The irony is that when you stop desperately seeking approval and start being worthy of it, you often receive more genuine appreciation than you ever did as an approval seeker. Quality relationships with people who choose to meet your standards are infinitely more satisfying than quantity relationships with people who take your approval for granted.